My name is Tara Aaron, and I am the artist in a cubicle. And talking today about Council of Muses. It is about time to reboot it, but I want to talk about what it is, where it came from, and why I think it's time to bring this project back to life right now. Back in November of 2019, I completed my training as an intentional creativity teacher, and I was so excited about my soul work project, which I called the Council of Muses. I envisioned this as a creative mastermind group for administrative professionals, and I was just sure it was what everybody was waiting for. It certainly seemed like the time was right. Creativity was the buzzword on everyone's lips. Harvard Business Review dedicated its January 2019 issue entirely to the topic of innovation, and Forbes in February 2019 alone had 3 articles on creativity. And CNBC reported in January of 2019 that creativity had to become the #1 skill set sought by employers, according to LinkedIn.com. So I started it, and we ran for about 3 years with a very small group, and then I ran out of steam. Of course, everybody was impacted hugely by COVID. I also had the burden of becoming a caregiver to my partner of nearly 20 years, as he dealt with some health issues that are ongoing to this day. And work became more challenging as well, as I was promoted in February of 2022 to the role of manager of executive assistants. And so that's been keeping me pretty busy for the last 1.5 years. But I really feel like it is time to revisit this idea. It still calls to me, and I'm so excited to think about getting it off the ground again. Coming with the end of the COVID state of emergency in May of 2018, we're sort of moving beyond that particular trauma into a new time, and a lot of people are focused forward on how do we build from here, right? And I think COVID certainly taught us all the importance of connection and relationship, and that is one of the core principles of Council of Muses. Also, in dealing with it, it's not like these things have gone away, right? And so there was something somebody said the other day, and I really wanted to talk about it here. I wish I could remember the attribution, but I can't find it. And so I'm going to paraphrase here, and if I can find the original quote, I will definitely put that into the description below. But it was something to the effect of this, that despite our best intentions, despite having excellent intentions, when we encourage people to practice self-care, when what they really need is community care, we are really doing more harm than good. And so that really struck a chord with me and made me realize that, in this time of recovering from the trauma of the last few years, our collective trauma worldwide, right? Having those communities we can rely on is more important than ever. And in terms of the goals of creating a group like Council of Muses, a creative mastermind, right? This is traditionally, masterminds are created to provide support and accountability. In the 12-Week Year by Brian Moran and Michael Lennington, they talk about having weekly accountability meetings where they take it to the next level, and using the 12-Week Year modality specifically, right? You're also creating measurement and measuring your progress against your goals. So there is power in community. However, Council of Muses takes that one step further into the power of community plus creativity. Now, the landmark study by George Land, conducted from 1968 to 1978 with 1,600 children, demonstrated that almost overwhelmingly we lose our sense of our creativity growing up. In 1968, when he first interviewed these children, 98% of these children identified as creative. But by the time they became 10-year-olds, that was down to only 30%. And by the time they were 15 years old in high school, only 12% of these children thought of themselves as creative. And we see this today too. Similar patterns continue. And so if we want to tap into the power of creativity, which is recognized by employers as a top desirable skill set, how do we do that in a culture that has not nurtured our creativity? Well, one of the best ways is to find a group that will support us in developing that creativity. And so that is why Council of Muses takes that accountability and support model of the mastermind and layers upon it the creative practice that we need to really build our creative muscles. So there will be a weekly report out on Sunday nights, and there will be creative practice on Wednesday nights, and monthly painting videos that you can pursue at your own time, quarterly retreats to really review where we're performing against our goals and reset for the next cycle, and finally ongoing support in the Slack community. And this is just me saying I refuse to give up. I believe somewhere out there are people looking for this kind of a group, and I am asking you to come and check it out. Yeah. So you'll see the link in the description below, and you can sign up on my Patreon to follow me there for more updates as I get this Council of Muses Creative Mastermind back off the ground.